American and European trucks may look similar, but they are designed with vastly different goals in mind. From their size and functionality to their distinct regulations, the differences between them run deep. Why do American trucks prioritize power while European models focus on efficiency? Join us as we explore the fascinating reasons behind these differences and uncover how each market's unique demands shape their iconic vehicles. American trucks and European trucks had distinct designs due to differing needs and regulations. American trucks featured the engine in front of the cab, which allowed for more living space for drivers during long hauls. European trucks, on the other hand, used a cab-over design where the cab sat directly above the engine. This was more practical in Europe, as drivers did not require as much space. Although both types of trucks could carry the same maximum weight of 80,000 pounds, American trucks were longer and wider compared to their European counterparts. The size regulations between the two also varied. In America, a semi-trailer could be up to 70 feet long, while in Europe, the limit was 61 feet. Additionally, American trucks sometimes towed two trailers at once, a practice not seen in Europe. The empty weight of an American semi-truck stood around 35,000 pounds, and when fully loaded, it could reach a maximum of 80,000 pounds, a capacity also found in European trucks. However, European trucks did not often carry such heavy loads. Height restrictions were similar in both regions. In America, semi-trailers had a maximum height of 13.5 feet, though most major highways accommodated this height. Occasional detours were necessary for older infrastructure. In Europe, trucks had a maximum height of 13.1 feet, and while modern highways allowed for this, older cities with ancient architecture required drivers to be cautious of local height restrictions. A key difference between American and European semi-trucks was the design of their cabs. American trucks typically had larger cabs with sleeping areas, while European trucks did not. This design difference stemmed from the distinct driving regulations in both regions. In the U.S., truck drivers were permitted to drive for up to 12 hours within a 24-hour period. As a result, they needed a place to rest during long trips, making the inclusion of a bed in the cab practical. On the other hand, European truck drivers could only drive for a maximum of 9 hours per day. This allowed them enough time to reach a rest stop or lodging before their next shift, eliminating the need for sleeping quarters in the truck itself. Speed limits also varied greatly between America and Europe. In the United States, each state set its own speed limits for trucks. These limits often depended on the type of road and the size of the truck. Major highways allowed semi-trucks to drive faster, while smaller highways and city roads had stricter limits. For instance, the maximum speed limit for trucks in California was 55 miles per hour, whereas in Texas, it reached as high as 85 miles per hour. In Europe, speed limits for trucks were typically lower, with most countries capping the speed at 55 miles per hour on large highways. Some countries were even more cautious, limiting truck speeds to 50 miles per hour. American trucks focused on providing comfort for drivers. Their wider wheelbases allowed for larger cabins, which gave drivers more space to move around. This extra room helped make bumpy roads feel smoother, allowing drivers to settle in more comfortably, especially for long-distance trips. Modern semi-trucks in America came with very cozy cabins. There was often enough space for a bed, television, and storage, making the truck feel like a second home while on the road. However, the reason American semi-trucks were designed for comfort was because drivers were expected to spend a significant amount of time in them. This could benefit drivers who wanted to maximize their earnings, but the long hours took a toll. Spending too much time behind the wheel without enough sleep increased the risk of accidents. With many truck drivers in America being owner-operators, the pressure to keep driving and earn more money was often high. This led some drivers to push themselves beyond their physical limits, raising the risk of fatigue-related incidents. On the other hand, European trucks tended to have better handling due to their shorter wheelbases, which were made possible by the smaller size of their cabins. Although European roads were modern, drivers still faced challenges with terrain, such as narrow, winding roads. The ability to maneuver more easily in these conditions was essential for navigating through these difficult areas. European truck drivers also faced the challenge of slower speed limits for trucks compared to cars, which was common in many European countries. While these speed restrictions were intended to improve safety, they meant that drivers had to spend more time on the road. This extended driving time reduced profitability for truckers, as fewer deliveries could be made within the same period. Trucks with a long nose at the front offered better protection to drivers during head-on collisions compared to the cabover design. This helped reduce the risk of severe injuries for drivers. However, cabover trucks were not designed without considering safety concerns. In addition to the engineering aspect of truck design, the behavior of drivers in different regions played a role. For example, the number of fatal accidents involving heavy trucks in the U.S. was 6 to 8 times higher than in Europe. Between 2009 and 2012, fatal truck accidents in Europe were 0.013 per thousand registered vehicles. The differences between American and European trucks come down to distinct priorities: comfort and long hauls versus maneuverability and safety. Which truck design do you think is better for long-distance driving? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content.